finally making some progress. I can see the fan through the radiator. That's pretty sweet. You see that? That's cool. It's clean. I washed all them, degreased that in the intercooler. So that kind of just proves that it's clean. Painted the top. I'm still going to paint this Dodge, but it's going to be a different color than the rest. The intercooler is going to go on next. I tidied up the radiator coolant bypass, or bypass in general, to the back of the motor. And then this was turned under the header, and I was looking on YouTube and somebody was mentioning how they just turn this and it'll let the oil system run a little cooler, which does make sense. So I did that on this, and then I exhaust wrapped it and just tidied it all up. I wish I wrapped the back of this bypass before I put the motor in, but it's not really as close to the header as I thought back here, I guess. I mean, it kind of is, but the exhaust is pushing like this way, so hopefully the heat, I thought about maybe just adding a fan back there just so the heat is getting pushed down and out. I filled up the transmission with fluid this morning and put the new plate on. So I ordered something different for that. I put the radiator in just now. I still got this one to hook up. And then I'm going to put this back where it belongs, up here on the radiator. And then down here. Oh, there's a dog too. Shop dog. Derpy shop dog. Right here. New plate, and I filled it with new fluid. Everything else looks pretty good. I still got to hook up the fast fuel system electronics and fill the tank and fill the fuel filters up with fuel. Trying to think, oh, I'm swapping this out. The intake horn, I bought a different one, and I also got the grid heater delete. So I'm going to take that piece out, or I might use that block but just cut all the internals out so nothing can fall out and it's hollow. I thought about that too, and you don't need to buy a part. And that little notch right over here is already in it for the fuel line. So that might be an option. I'm going to look into it more. And I got one coolant line left to do. That's why I'm trying to hook up my intercooler and the radiator, but there's one right there, and that's going to go back to the heater core. And the original one ran up back here, up against the block behind the turbo, and then came out like right here next to the turbo, hottest part of the motor. So I'm going to bypass all that and just run it kind of under this battery box probably, and then back to that heater core line. You can see the factory one, that one's still good, but this one I'm changing it out here because I don't like it. So I'm going to change that just like I changed this. Anything that I can clean up the motor bay and or get the temps to run cooler on anything, EGTs, coolant temps, oil temps, I'm going to try to do while I'm in here installing this motor, because this is all fresh to this truck. So it was a good motor in my last truck. It was just overheating. I think most of that was because of the automatic. This one's 6-speed, so no automatic transmission cooler and no coolant mixing with the transmission fluid on the automatics on these. That was a big reason why I ditched my last truck, was just it was overheating. And the other thing is having all those extra coolers on the front. It's just too much, I think. So I ditched AC on this one because I'm not going to run it. I'm ditching that heater grid because I'm not going to run it in the hot temp or the cold temps, and I'm not going to need the AC in the hotter temps. So that's the plan. It should drop the temps quite a bit. The power steering cooler is still on there. That's not taking up much. It'll just be the intercooler, then the radiator. That's all that's going to go on this one. So it should breathe really good without that AC one on. I don't know if I have one yet. I have one out right here. It's a pretty tight filter. It's tighter than all the other ones. So it would make sense to have this one on last more than first, because it's blocking so much more air in my mind than the other ones. So I'm ditching this, and you can see where all these things have been folded in, so air's not even gonna push through all this spots. Yeah, that's trash. I'm getting rid of it. I'd rather be hot than have the truck run hot. So that's my theory. And then this is next, the intercooler. I'm hoping I'm installing all this right. It's been a minute. But I'm gonna pick this one because you can see this is the one from the automatic. One, it's got a big dent in it. And the other thing, it's got all the grease from the transcooler. And the radiator was even worse. That's not out here, but the radiator was even worse from that thing. It's like dark, like that, but probably 10 times worse and a lot bigger. So you can see why the automatic gums that shit up easier and makes it so the airflow is not as good. So I'm running all the 6-speed stuff because it's cleaner. And yeah, cleaner and nicer condition was the two things I based what I'm using in this truck on. So that's where we're at. I'm going to continue getting this intercooler and the radiator hose on. And hopefully before too long, I'll be starting this thing for the first time. She's looking pretty good. I did clean up that turbo.